Hi everybody, this is Shawna Audet from the Flying Cat Academy. Welcome to lesson number 5. Let's set up our table. In the top left corner of the table, you'll have your top 160 sight word list, and then you'll have the sight word study method teacher instruction sheet, the cards on which your student is currently working, pencils, some blank cards, and a highlighter and some markers. Moving on to the short vowel drill, you'll have the teacher instruction sheet and the keyword pictures plus the keyword sentence. For the phonemic awareness drill, you'll have the teacher instruction sheet and the tiles for the student. Then you'll have the auditory drill and the visual drill and the accompanying card pack. Remember that you want to remove the cards once they're mastered. The blending drill instruction sheet, and the little letter cards that are already placed in the proper order. The magnetic letter tile drill for reading and spelling instruction sheet, plus the tiles all laid out in a rainbow shape. The syllable pounding sheet, which we still haven't used in a lesson and it won't be for a while. The new phoneme graphing kinesthetic discovery drill instructions, and then all the sheets for this lesson. Notice that you will also have cut out in advance the syllable card sort that you're going to do for today. And you can find the sheet with all the words to cut up in the lesson plan resources. Let's start with the sight word study method. So student, get out your card pack and you will read all the words in your pack. Then this teacher takes the pack and the teacher reads the word and you have a chance to write the word down. Remember that every time you get the word right, when you read it right, you get a check mark, and then when you write it correctly, you get a check mark on the other side. After each word, you might want to talk with your teacher about, is this word mastered? If it is, you can take it out of your pack. Mastered means that you can read it and write it 90% of the time correctly. Do this activity, and if you think that there is enough time, and if the student can handle one more word in their pack, then teacher, you can introduce a new sight word. Do the activity and then come back to me. It's time for the short vowel drill. So take out your keyword pictures. Apple, Eddie, itchy, olive, up. Trace each one with 2 fingers and do that 5 times. Remember to underline and say the sound at the end. Apple, ah. At the end, you'll do the keyword sentence, stretching out the vowels as you say it. Do that now. I'm going to add a little bit onto the end of the short vowel drill. Student, we want you to be connecting the letters with the sounds. So let's add one step to help this happen. I'm going to point to one of the vowels, and I want you to say the sound it makes. Either apple, Eddie, itchy, olive, or up. Ready? Here we go. How did you do? It's time for the phonemic awareness drill. That means take out your color tiles. And I'm going to tell you, your word is wrap. Can you repeat that word? Let's use it in a sentence. I could say, I will rap on the door. Rap can mean to knock. Can you use rap in a sentence? Make one up and tell your teacher now. Okay, I want you to build the word wrap with your colored tiles. Do that now. Now, touch each block and then say the sounds, and then you're going to blend all the sounds together and say the whole word. If that word is wrap, I'm wondering if you can find the in wrap and touch it. Do you have your finger on it? What I want you to do is change the into What's your new word? Tap it and say it to find out. Did you get nap? Okay, if you did, touch the in nap. Change the n into a h. What do you have now? Tap it and say it. Did you get hap? It's not a word on its own, but it's part of the word happen. So if that's hap, I'm wondering, can you find the ah in hap? Tap each sound in hap until you find the ah. Okay, your fingers on the ah. Change the ah into eh. What do you have now? Did you get hep? Well, it's a nonsense word. Let's turn it into another nonsense word. Find the h in hep and change the h to a t. What do you get now? Tap it and say it. Did you get tep? If you did, good. So if that's tep, let's change it into a real word. Find the eh in tep. Okay, touch the eh. And now turn the eh into an I. What's the new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get tip? Find the t in tip and change it to a mm. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get mip? Find the I in mip and change it to an What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get mup? Good. Find the p in mup. Put your finger on it. And now change the p to a d. What's your word? Tap it and say it. Did you get mud? If you did, good job. Okay, let's move on. Let's do the visual drill. I'm going to show you a card, and you're going to tell me the name of the letter and tell me the sound it makes. Teacher, as the student gains proficiency with this, you can just have them make the sound and not say the name of the letter. If they've mastered the names of the letter, they don't have to continue saying them. What is this one? Did you say S and the letter name is S? If you did, good job. How about this one? This is a T. It says T. Now make sure you did not say T. We want it just to be really crisp. T. You want to remove that sound from all your sounds except for, what's this one? This is a U and it says That's where the goes. How about this one? This is a V and it says V. How about this one? This is an X and it says X. So it's actually two sounds. There's the K sound as in K and the S sound as in S. X. Try and say that. And how about this one? This is a Y and it says Y. It doesn't say ya. Y. Okay. Now let's do the auditory drill. So I will say a sound, you repeat the sound, and then we're going to have you write it down. Here it is. Ready? Zzz. Can you repeat that? Okay, I want you to write it down and then underline it and say the sound one more time. Let's check your work. Okay, how'd you do? Here's your next one. Ready? Eh. Can you say that sound? Eh. Write down the symbol that goes with the sound eh. Then underline it and say the sound again. How did you do? Okay, your next one is G. Can you say that sound? G. Write down the symbol that goes with that sound and then underline it and say the sound again. How did you do? All right, great job. Let's move on. Let's move on to the blending drill. You're going to need those paper letter cards for this one. Your teacher has them all lined up in the proper order on the table, and your teacher will remove the cards one by one, and each time the new word appears, you'll tap it and say it. At some point in this process, you're going to just be able to read the whole word without having to tap, and that is fantastic. But that magical moment happens at a different point for everybody. So tapping it and saying it is the way to go until you have that ability. Let's do the drill now. Let's move on to the next section of our lesson. We've been talking a lot about consonants and vowels. I'd like you to take your magnetic letter tile sheet and I want you to point to the letters that you think are vowels. Tell your teacher the sound that each one makes. And teacher, if any vowels get missed, then you can identify them for the student and ask them what sound it makes. When you're finished, we'll talk about this guy, which is not going to be acting as a vowel for a long time for us. We've been talking about this letter Y and how Y can sometimes be a vowel and sometimes be a consonant. Do you remember the sound that Y makes when it's at the front of a word and it's being a consonant? Say that sound right now if you remember. Did you say Y? If you did, that's correct. When Y is a consonant, that's the sound it makes. When it's in any other position in the word, it's acting as a vowel, and it'll make a different sound. So is Y a consonant there? Nope. Is Y a consonant here? Will it say Y? No. When Y is at the front of the word, it's a consonant, and it says Y. The next big concept that we worked on is the idea of syllable. What is a syllable? We gave you a sheet yesterday to help you remember. Can you take out your syllable gesture sheet? Okay, let's say that you've got it out. And this tells us a way to remember what is a syllable. And so we put our hands really wide to represent something big. The big thing is a whole word. And so a syllable could be a word. It's a word, or it might just be part of a word. Part of a word means it's something that's not a word by itself, like tass in fantastic. Tass is not a word on its own. And then the last part is a key part of the definition. It has one vowel pattern. And if we have our example of yap that we just used, I would say, is this a syllable? And so you would ask yourself, well, is yap a word? Ah, it is. And even more importantly, does it have one vowel pattern? Yes, it does. I hear a vowel sound. Ah, so that must be a syllable. What if I changed it into YMP? Is that one a syllable? Did you say yes or no? If you said no, tell me why. And if you said yes, explain your thinking to your teacher too. In all these drills, teacher, we want the student to explain their thinking. That one's not a syllable because there's no vowel. You have a syllable card sort that's on the table all ready for you. And right now I want you to do the yes-no sort, and you'll just be sorting the syllables into either yes, under the yes pile if you think it is a syllable, or no for if it's not a syllable. And as you're doing that, teacher, I want you to ask the student to explain their thinking. You don't have to do it for everyone, but it's good to check in that way on a few of them at least. Okay, do the activity and then we'll keep on going. It's time for the magnetic letter tile drill. So can you take out your tiles? I'm going to tell you the sounds in a word and you're going to build the word, then you'll tap it and say it. Your first sound is Can you repeat that sound? Now find the letter tile that makes the sound h and pull it to the middle. Okay, you got it? The second sound in this word is Can you repeat that sound? Now find the tile that makes the sound and pull it to the middle. The last sound in this word is Can you repeat that sound? Now find the tile that makes the sound and pull it to the middle. Okay, you've got your tiles there. Now I want you to tap each tile and say the whole word. Your teacher will check your work and then put the word in a sentence. Okay, let's put the tiles back so we can try a new word. Are you ready to go? Okay, the first sound in this new word is Y. Can you repeat that sound? Y. Okay, find the tile that goes with Y and pull it to the middle. The second sound in this word is Eh. Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Eh. The last sound in this word is T. Can you repeat that sound? Find the T and pull it to the middle. Okay, you've got your word there. Now tap each sound and say it, and then underline them and blend them all together. What's your word? Okay, your teacher will check your work and then use that word in a sentence. Okay, teacher, if you have time permitting, you could do an extra word because there's some provided on the lesson plan. Or if not, let's just keep going. It's time to read your single word list, and you can tap each sound and then blend them all together. Or if you can just blend them all together, then you don't need the tapping. So do what you need to do. And teacher, you're keeping an eye on the time so you'll know how many words the student should read. All right, do that now. Are you finished? It's time for reading connected text. You'll read the story and then your teacher will let you see the picture that goes with it. This is part 2 of the story that you read last time. Now teacher, if that seems like it might be too much text for your student, you could read one line and then the student could read another line. You'll do what you need to do. Okay, do that and then come back to me. It's time for the writing portion of the lesson, so you'll need your magnetic letter tiles again. I'm going to tell you that your word is run. Can you please repeat that word? Okay, now use the word run in a sentence. I might say, I will go for a run after this lesson. Okay, now what's the first sound that you hear in run? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Okay, what's the second sound that you hear in run? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in run? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now you've got your tiles there. I want you to tap each tile and say the whole word. Great job. Let's do our second word. I will tell you that your word is bet. Can you repeat that word? Okay, now use the word bet in a sentence. Tell your teacher. What is the first sound that you hear in bet? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the second sound that you hear in bet? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in bet? Find the tile and pull it to the middle. Now you've got them all there, so tap it and say it, and your teacher will check your work. And teacher, if there's time permitting, you can look on the list in the lesson plan and you can do this and introduce another word using the magnetic letter tile drill instructions, or we can just move on. We're going to move on to writing some single words. We'll tap them or trace them first, and then you'll write them down. So you'll need some lined paper and a pencil. Are you ready? Your word is pet. So I want you to tap this first. Tap out the sounds that you hear in pet, saying the sounds out loud as you do it, and then write the word on the paper. Your teacher can check your work. How'd you do? Let's try another one, and this time you can trace them and then write them. So your next word is leg. Trace it, could trace it on your leg or your arm or your hand. Leg. Say each sound as you trace it, and then write it down with your pencil on the paper. And your teacher will check your work. Okay, teacher, if there is extra time, you can do more words. So just keep an eye on the time. And I will move on to writing the connected text. So let's write some sentences. You've got your paper right there. You got your pencil right there. I'm going to tell you the sentence, and I want you to repeat it. Your sentence is, the cat got a bed. Can you repeat that? The cat got a bed. Lucky cat, he got a bed. Okay, now I want you to write it. The cat got a bed. Okay, pause the video and do it now. How'd you do? Well, let's check. So we have our chops. The C stands for capital. Does your work have a capital, that sentence? If it does, great. If not, change it. How about your handwriting? Is there a finger space between each word? Are things looking pretty neat? Are they staying on the line? Did you start way over on the left near that red line that goes down the page? Okay. Now it's time to read that sentence out loud. So read your own writing. Go for it. And the last thing is spelling. So your teacher can give you the sheet and you can check it. And teacher, just make sure that that second sentence is not visible when they do that. And now teacher, I want you to do the last step so you can take your student through the last sentence. Do that now and then come back to me. You did it. That's the end of lesson number 5. Great job. This is Shawna Audet from the Flying Cat Academy.